Hello, and welcome to 3SSI Video Recording Orientation. My name is Tamara Tarasova, and I will be guiding you through the process of preparing a quality video meeting 3SSI requirements. In this presentation, we will talk about the timeline that covers main milestones in the video production process. We will also cover audio and visual requirements for the videos. You will learn how 3A can support you in the process of preparing your video, and we will also review the step-by-step process of video production. By February 26, 3SSI is expecting to receive a short sample of your video. It will be a 1 to 2 minute recording that contains all visual and audio requirements. We need that to make sure that we're on the same page in terms of the quality of the product. If there are any feedback or comments, we will get back to you, and we would ask you to include that into the final video that you will be providing us. Your final submission is expected by March 12th. After that, we will begin video editing on our end, eliminating all of the pauses or mistakes. By May 3, we expect all of the final products to be uploaded onto the website of the 3SSI annual meeting. This is when you will be able to practice the question and answer session right in the system. Now, let me tell you how this project is different from other types of presentation, such as webinars or live presentations. First, we have specific visual and audio requirements that I will be discussing later. Also, we are very much limited in terms of time. We have a strict agenda, and full content needs to be delivered within this time frame. Presentation style when you are presenting live is very different from a recording. In a live presentation, you are aiming at making your presentation flow, non-stop, no pauses. This is not the case with a video recording. In a video recording, you're able to stop your recording at any moment to collect your thoughts and to prepare nice chunks. So basically, our goal is to receive well-prepared chunks of presentation, not a full presentation without any pauses. Another challenge to handle during this project is that you will be at the same time the star show and the video producer. Handling both presentation and technical aspects is usually challenging. And finally, to prepare a nice video recording, you should be expecting about 4 times of the length of the actual presentation. Now, what 3SSI is not expecting from you? Unless you are qualified in doing so, or unless you are lucky in the process of production, we're not expecting you to deliver us beautiful, finished videos with no pauses, nothing to edit out from the beginning to the end. Instead, what we are looking for is to receive high-quality video pieces containing, first, PowerPoint visuals, video of the speaker, which is generated by Zoom automatically, as well as audio narration. It is okay to have pauses in your video or to have sentences that are corrected. Yet, we're expecting your video to be within the timeline of the agenda. This aspect might be challenging because Zoom doesn't provide ways to monitor where you are in terms of timing, but we will talk about time management further. 3SSI is a place where you can ask any questions regarding video production. You have already received video production guidelines and PDF and video file on how to record a PowerPoint presentation using Zoom. Anytime you have any questions, please feel free to contact us by email or to set up a conference call. 3SSI will also provide any of the video editing that is required. And we will also make sound adjustments, which include raising the volume and editing out pauses. Yet there are things that 3SSI cannot correct. For instance, in terms of visuals of the speaker, if not the full head is within the frame, if you are speaking while being turned away from the camera, if there is poor lighting or a dark shade on one part of your face, or if there is cluttered background, this is something we cannot edit out or correct. As for the sound, if there are mispronounced words and no corrections for them, if the volume is unlevel, or if there is strong background noise intervening with the voice, as well as echo sound, this is again something that we cannot correct, unfortunately. We organize the process of video production into 5 main steps: scripting, scene setup, testing, recording, review, and sharing. As I mentioned before, please plan around 4 times of your video recording length in order to produce the product. I highlighted bold please script. And this is the only part of the presentation that is highlighted bold. During my time working at George Washington University with university professors, I witnessed a lot working with brilliant presenters who are very qualified in their subject, who are also very skilled in delivering their presentations. Yet, we recommended all of them to script in as more details as possible. Oftentimes, if they were not willing to do so, we would leave the video recording studio just to produce a script. Scripting considerably reduces the overall time of the recording and ensures the best possible quality of the video. It is also a very good tool to control the actual timing of your recording. You may go with full sentences or bullets, although we advise to have a more detailed script. And once you finalize that, please copy your text into the PowerPoint notes section. That way, you will be able to access your notes, basically read them from the screen while recording your presentation. As for the scene setup, we're looking at two aspects. First is the background and the frame. As for the background, choose any kind of neutral background colors, or you may have some small minimal details at the back. Avoid very interesting, flashy details that may distract viewers' attention from your presentation. Also, avoid displaying any of the commercial messages. As for the frame, we would ask you to have the full head of the speaker inside the frame, preferably a little bit below the shoulders line. There is also an option to use a photo as your background in Zoom. However, we found inconsistent results using that, so generally we would not recommend it. Yet, if it works well for you and doesn't interfere with the visuals, feel free to do so. As for the equipment, the majority of the settings is covered in the Record PowerPoint presentations in Zoom video or PDF. If you're using any of the external equipment, such as microphones or camera, please follow the instructions, and once entering Zoom meeting, please make sure that the settings are adjusted. As for the camera, please make sure to install it on the eye level. For that, you may need a stack of books or any other support on which you can install your computer. We also recommend to follow high definition settings in your Zoom. The video and PDF recording contains step-by-step instructions how to do that. Yet use your judgment if this is making your video frame better. Sometimes, depending on the camera, it may actually negatively affect the final image. Test the microphone in accordance with Zoom recording instructions. For a professional studio, lighting is very important, but we are not expecting you to acquire any of the lighting equipment for this production. Yet there are some quite easy setup that ensures the best possible lighting. For instance, avoid strong light coming from your back, let's say if your back is facing the window, or avoid poor lighting or lighting that's coming just from the one side of your face. Instead, the strongest light should be coming from the front, preferably from two sources. A properly installed table lamp could be a sufficient source of lighting for your video recording. If you're wearing glasses, make sure that the lighting at the front is set up a little bit away from the camera, such as shown on option on the left. Having your lighting source very close to the camera will create glare. If you have two monitors, make sure that the presenter's view is displayed so that your slide notes and the slide that you are currently looking at is displayed on the monitor closest to the camera. If this is not the way your presenter's mode is displayed, please make adjustments or simply disable one monitor. It is very important to mostly look at the monitor that has the camera. There are several ways how you can minimize extraneous noise. First, if you have an option to record in a carpeted room, please use so. It does make a lot of difference. You may want to shut the door into the room and turn off AC and air ventilation. I hope very much that your household members will forgive you that. Also, mute your phone and turn off any notifications that may intervene during your recording. And finally, please notify people and pets around you to be respectful of your process. As for the outfit, we recommend you wearing neutral colors, contrasting the background, and avoiding bright prints. If you're having a question and answer session during annual meeting, please use the same outfit during presentation as during the annual meeting. Once your setup is finished, you may do a testing recording. This is different from a sample recording that you are sending to 3A SSI. This is something to make sure that your microphone and your visuals are properly set up to avoid the situation where you run through the whole presentation only to find out that some elements are missing. Your test recording will be generated once you quit the Zoom meeting. After you end the Zoom session, your video will start converting. Review your sample for the visual clarity and the frame, and also check the audio quality. If any of the adjustments are needed, please do them before you proceed to your final recording. If no additional adjustments are needed, you can open a new Zoom session and proceed without making any of changes in the settings. Your settings should be remembered by the software. Now the recording, the most fun part. First of all, please allow yourself plenty of time. This will really eliminate a lot of stress around the process. Also, make sure that you feel comfortable physically during the process of your recording. Make sure you have access to water, clinic, or any of the other items that you may need. Also, make sure that people around you are notified not to interrupt you. As you speak, speak clearly at a good pace. Look into the camera as much as possible. Use pause button as often as needed. As I mentioned before, this is where the main difference between a live presentation and the recorded one comes into place. One of the suggested strategies is to pause the recording, wrap up all your thoughts at the beginning of each slide, and convey the recording for this slide. You can pause the recording again at the beginning of the next slide. Another important aspect is to record the whole video in one time. Unless you're a professional voice actor, recording on different times of the day will make a difference. Your voice will change. To avoid that, please record in one sitting. A few words about self-correcting. As we mentioned, please pause recording as often as you need. You may also make pauses in the recording without pressing the pause button. Also, try to avoid stop button when you're pausing. If you press stop button, it will generate several videos. This will not be a problem for us to combine them into one. It's just a little bit extra in terms of managing the process. Also, if you are correcting yourself, please correct yourself with a full sentence. If you make a mistake in a word, begin with a full sentence. Just correcting a word might create a different intonation that will be noticeable in the final recording. A few words about the time management. Now, the main challenge in this process is that Zoom doesn't show you where you are in terms of the length of your video. Basically, you will learn your final video length after you finish your recording. A few steps will help you managing this process better. First of all, accurate scripting and rehearsing will help you better plan for the actual length. Second, you can also use a stopwatch as you are recording. For instance, you begin the stopwatch at the beginning of the recording. If you pause, you also pause the stopwatch. Once you resume recording, you resume the stopwatch. This seems to be an extra step, yet it is a very efficient way to monitor your overall recording length. You may also ask someone from your household to help you with time management. In this case, you will simply communicate to him or her, "I'm stopping the recording," or "I'm resuming the recording," so that that person makes adjustment on the stopwatch. Once you're done through the content of your presentation, you quit the meeting and Zoom will start converting your video. Open your Zoom recording in the file manager and review your video from the point of view of frame, quality of the audio, and if all of the content details are in the presentation. Share your input following the Dropbox link sent by SSI. If there are any changes that are not obvious from us listening to the recording, please indicate those. Those examples could be if you are paraphrasing yourself. Let's say no words is mispronounced, yet you are giving your idea in another words. For me, it may not be obvious that this is a correction. I may be thinking that you are just clarifying the meaning. So if there are cases like that in your recording, please indicate us the exact seconds where you want us to make a cut. This concludes my presentation, and please feel free to contact me on titarasova@3-a.org for any of the questions. Also, feel free to request a phone consultation if you have any further questions. Good luck.